Okay, let's go back to, you've talked about this before, and I'll just kind of ask you, I think it's good for the audience if you want to go through it. 1960, 64% of African Americans would vote Democrat.
Yes, sir.
The rest was conservative.
Yes, sir.
Let's put liberal and conservative. That's a better way of saying it, right?
Okay.
64 liberal, 36 conservative. 1964, 4 years later, 92% blacks are voting Democrat.
Yeah. Lyndon B. Johnson's civil rights legislation.
So what happened there? Maybe give a little bit of the history of Goldwater, Lyndon Johnson, what he did.
JFK's assassinated. Lyndon B. Johnson's in office. Republicans and Democrats, back in the day, Dixiecrats, bipartisanly bring a bill to the desk of Lyndon B. Johnson. He signed civil rights legislation into law. According to whatever reports you believe, Lyndon B. Johnson says, we bring this legislation, we sign this legislation into law, we'll have the Negroes voting for us for the next 50 years.
So here we are again. The liberals have all but nominated a woman of color, Kamala Harris, who has an Indian mother and maybe a Jamaican father. Either way, she is not what one would call black. But because she has melanin in her skin to a higher degree than white people, you have black women, and now, unfortunately, a lot of weak-minded black men are falling in line to vote for Kamala Harris. Not because she proposed some kind of truly remarkable policy for the black community. Not because she says she's going to close the southern border and stop the mass immigration that's happening, that's destroying the inner cities in New York, in Chicago, and Detroit, Atlanta, and places like that. Not because she says she's going to go against what she's done in the past and stop the genocide that is happening, not just in the womb, but also in our inner cities. None of that. No, it's simply because she would be considered black. That is what happens all the time in the black community. They play on the emotions of black people. They use your emotions. They use the atrocities of the past. They use the true discrimination that's happened in the past against black people. They play on that. They know they can go to that well, they can go to that playbook over and over and over again and get black people to vote for them. And you know what happens after that? Nothing. Nothing changes the community. The community is worse off after the election of that symbol, that token, than it was before. Case in point, Barack Obama. Look at the city of Chicago. Is Chicago better off than it was before Obama? No, because Obama was a token. Obama was that Trojan horse. Obama was the one that they used to push in the LGBTQ agenda. Obama was the one that they used to push in to destroy the pillar of the family, to destroy the pillar of marriage, the institution of marriage. Because once you get rid of that, all kind of other stuff can come in. That's why they're pushing for MAPS, minor attracted people. That's going to be coming up soon. Bestiality is coming up soon. All those things are happening because the liberals were smart. Now, I know it wasn't just black people that elected Obama, okay? I know it was just black people that did it. But they used the token of a black person to get everybody on board to push in their real radical agenda of transforming this nation, to remove God, to pull down the institution that God himself had created, and to institute this secular humanistic society that does not resemble a biblical society at all. As a matter of fact, it is demonic. And yet I see it happening now. I see people of goodwill people, people that otherwise would have sound minds, people that otherwise would be a believer in Jesus Christ. Because they have wrapped their Christianity in their blackness. When the liberals who know this, they know game, they peep game, they know how to manipulate black people. And so when they see this, they say, we can nominate Kamala Harris and we'll get our base back. We'll get the black women to get these black men in line because we're not going to promise them anything different. As a matter of fact, Kamala Harris not speaking to things that directly pertain to the black community. She's going to run on reproductive justice. And she's going to run on Trump being a criminal. She's not going to run on providing opportunity to the black community. She's not going to run on closing the border and stopping this immigration and deporting these people who are here illegally, who are taking resources from black people, who have skipped the line over black people. She's not going to talk about those things because they have blinded black people with symbolism. Black people have been blinded with symbolism. And so therefore they know that they blinded the minds of black people, even people, and they use these church plants to push this. The church plants, the traditional black pastors who sabotage the black community. They use these church plants. They use these gatekeepers because they know they have the minds of black people captured. They just use the symbolism to capture their minds. And until we as a black community realize that, they will continue to do this over and over and over again.
It's funny because if you look at perception in the black community, black Twitter as they call it, black Instagram, you would think she's the next best thing since Jesus Christ. Like, she's going to beat Trump. She raised all this money. Charlemagne the God, D.L. Hughley, all these people are going nuts right now. All these memes all over the place. I know everybody has to see it. So you mean to tell me that she is lower than Biden right now? Actually,
they just released a poll, and yes, she's polling lower than Biden was polling against Trump. Biden and Trump would sometimes switch positions where Trump will be in the lead and Biden will be in the lead. As of this poll, it's just one that is doing a hypothetical. If Kamala was to be the nominee, yes, she's polling lower. And what you're seeing is a lot of symbolism. First of all, I don't get it. Kamala is not a freedman, meaning she's not a black American who's a descendant of those who were enslaved and emancipated in America. Some people are even arguing if she's black. Now, I don't argue that, but some people do. But we have this symbolism where you have some black women who are excited about seeing another black woman who may be able to ascend to the office of the presidency.
Because they're living vicariously through this woman. The only qualification that Kamala Harris has to get these people's vote is that she is a melanated woman. How sad is that? Because she's a melanated woman, she has to do nothing else. Well, it's two things. Because she has melanin and she's a woman, she gets their vote. That's it. Because she has a higher degree of melanin and she's a woman. Think about that. Things that she had no control over. Immutable facts. But yet, millions of people, black women, are going to vote for her simply because of that. And that's why I say liberals play off the emotions of black people. They use symbolism to get black people to vote for them because they know they can put up a symbol. Man, they can put up anybody that has melanin and is a woman, and the majority of black people will vote for that person. That is insulting. That is a lack of respect for your intelligence. It really is. It is an insult that somebody can put up someone as a candidate and they expect you to vote for them simply because that person looks like you. That is insulting.
I guess we have not learned our lesson from Obama. We need more than symbolism. Now, I'm willing to give Kamala a chance. I want to hear some policies. Let's talk policy, okay? But the reason I'm a little suspicious of Kamala, because one big issue for me, and this has been since day one when I launched my campaign, and it's always been an issue for me, is mass immigration. Our country is literally being invaded at the border. And whereas we see our people struggle, whether you are a freeman, a black American, or you are the descendant of a black immigrant, you was born in America, we see our people struggle day in and day out. I have not seen a homeless illegal immigrant at all. I've seen them being put up in hotels, being given debit cards to purchase food, getting free clothing, healthcare, transportation, job training for well-paying jobs that we were told we needed to go to school to get special training, certifications, and degrees, and yet they are bypassing that for illegal immigrants, giving them job training and having well-paying jobs waiting for them. Kamala, even though she was not the president, this has happened underneath her administration. Underneath her administration, they have sent billions of dollars to some cities that are struggling to accommodate these illegal immigrants. That is something that really turns me off. I am for stopping mass immigration, illegal, but also out of control legal immigration. I want to hear what Kamala is going to say about that.
We in the black community have been falling for symbolism when it comes to these elections since we were alive. It's always been about symbolism. It's never really been about policy. We've never gotten to the nuts and bolts. And now with the advancement of the media and social media, it seems like a lot of our entertainers, a lot of our media personalities, they really try to force that and nail that in of the perception, and us kind of looking at the perception as opposed to really sticking to the policy. Why do you think that is? We talk about often a lot of these in particular black media incumbents and black media entertainers getting paid off by the Democratic Party. Just call it for what we see it. What do you think of the reasoning? Because I seen Ebro this morning. He dropped on Twitter, you got a woman that may be Indian and black. I consider her as black, and against this white man who wants strictly white policies. They try to split it. They try to make it so much about race when it comes to these elections and play on the minds of black folk. Why do you think that is?
We were also denied the right to run for office. So now we see some black faces who are ascending to these positions that were once locked off from us, and we get a sense of pride. We live vicariously through them. But we have to stop being so emotional when it comes to politics. Politics is not something that should be done based off of emotion. It should be done based off of logic and what is best for my demographic.
Until black people, and I especially mean black Christians, stand up and stop letting the liberals control them through their emotions, you will continue to get the same type of treatment. They will continue to give you symbols. They will continue to patronize you and not have any real solutions or have any real agenda items for the black community. And especially you have these church plants who continue to further the message. Like I said, they are the paramilitary of the Democratic Party of the liberals. And they're going to be on full blast now since Kamala Harris is the nominee. They're going to be pushing that propaganda down the throats of black people. Well, black people, don't let them do that. All they're doing is making the community victims. They've done it for the last 60 years. It's time to wake up. It's time to cast off the restraints, cast off the blinders that have been put on us by the liberals that we've put on ourselves because we've listened to these church plants and we've listened to people who say they have our best interests in mind, but they don't. Only God, only Jesus has our best interests in mind. Let's listen to him. We're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.